Oh, hi everyone. My name is Rosia Truan. I am the host of Fight CPS with Miss G. I also work with attorney Vincent Davis, and I have Mr. Dave Biller, and I have Miss Stacy Pine with us, or Pain in my buns. No, let's get with us today. Um, okay, so I want to talk to you guys about a few things that it's a true story. Everything I mentioned to you guys, true story that's happening in our world, in the law world. And but before then, Stacy has to leave exactly on time because she has things to do for work. And I want her to start first, and then Dave and I will be after Stacy. So go ahead, Stacy. You have the floor, baby.
Oh my goodness, Miss G, what an honor. Hey, so first of all, I just want to make something clear.
Mhm.
I'm always on your side. I always agree with what you say. Like, very little have I ever disagreed. So I just want to make it clear that I am your pain in the buns.
Yes, you are my pain in my buns. Mine, only mine. Oh my God. That
I
is so
am I am loyal to you, Miss G. I respect you, and I do. I would, you know, sometimes I just sit back and let you go because I agree.
and you know what's happening.
And actually, when I tend to interject something, it's just to substantiate what you're saying even more.
Yeah, that's true. We discussed a few things today, me and you, before the show, and of the corruption, especially in New York, Buffalo, New York, or what's the name of that area we talked about in New York, Buffalo, New York?
The what is this again? Which one? It's all
Uh,
corrupt everywhere. So which
Oh,
one were
go
you?
corrupt. You're right. So there's like we discussed with Stacy. Me and Stacy discussed attorneys that you hire in the state of New York. Say you have a criminal case, and your case is criminal and CPS. That attorney, oftentimes, what they do is they make a deal with the county.
Yes.
And the reason they make a deal with the county is that the county is telling them, hey, you're gonna get business from us, you're gonna be successful, you're gonna be this. You just need to convince her, the mother or the father or both,
To
to plead
sign.
guilty. Right. To plead
Yeah.
guilty.
Yep.
And
Yep.
and then you know, to avoid jail time or prison time or what have you. But then the the client of that criminal attorney did not do anything to plead guilty to. So again, you have to be very mindful who you hire. I know you don't know because you think your attorney is loyal to you, but we're dealing with a case right now where indeed they did um, they're working with the county with CPS county district attorney against that person's client.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's
Oh,
frustrating, Miss G, because as you know, we do court watching here, and sometimes after I'm not a lawyer. I'm a paralegal, but I'm not a lawyer. I still have some knowledge about what's going on before
you're not
me.
just a paralegal, though. You're a physician assistant, and you just soon became a paralegal because you wanted to understand how the system works.
Right.
Uh, yeah, so go ahead.
So I have that knowledge, and we go in and we court watch. And so I still have enough knowledge that's above a layperson that's trusting their attorney.
Mhm,
And sometimes things can be as clear as day to me that their own attorney is arguing against them.
mhm.
But people are so vulnerable, naive. The law is almost a whole different language to them, and they trust what their attorney is telling them.
Right,
And they're selling them up a river.
right.
The case that we've been long watching with the disabled couple, one of their children was murdered in foster care. Another
Mhm,
was deemed neglected in foster care and had to have a change of foster parents.
mhm.
Um, they had another child, and they're trying to convince the mother, if you sign the TPR, we'll still allow you visitation after the TPR, which we all know they're a learning disabled couple, they're vulnerable. It's going to be a bait and switch.
Mhm.
She signs over the TPR. The foster family is going to say, "Oh, there's problems with the parents. We need to suspend any access," and the
Right.
child is gone.
Mhm,
Right? So it's
mhm.
as clear as day to me what's going to happen. But you're dealing with a learning disabled couple that's being sold up the river, and her own attorney is telling her to sign the TPR. And they're learning disabled. They know something's not right about what they're being told, because when I try to explain to them what's the difference if you go through the court proceedings and you get a TPR, that you can't still have some access. So why do you need to sign right away your rights over when this could be something situated with the courts after a TPR too? So they're being sold up a river. It's obvious to me. It's obvious to me that her attorney isn't working for her. In fact, he never even talks to her. He only talks to her on days of court appearances at court. And
Having someone, having like an independent advocate appointed for them,
well,
someone
that's what we
who,
try to do. Yeah.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
we
so
try to do as court watchers is advocate for them. I mean, as court watchers, we're neutral. First of all, we go in neutral, but when we start seeing a problem, then you know what we're interested in is that people's constitutional rights are being afforded. So just as if we see a judge make a good decision, we publicize that good decision by the judge. But when we go in and we see a learning disabled couple being, you know, with this predatory sort of representation, we have something to say about that, you know, and so we do get involved in certain ways as court watchers. So absolutely, they need advocacy. And New York State, and I think possibly the nation at large, is very horrible at recognizing disability rights.
Mhm.
yeah, so the ADA means nothing.
Absolutely. And you have, I'm sure, Dave, a lot of understanding and comprehension about that. But again, what we're talking about is the predatory attorney practices where they bill their clients and then sell them up a river, take their money, but help the other side.
That part.
And that was also my experience in New York State. Um, and I went with every kind of attorney. I did high paid attorneys. I did low paid attorneys. And they all worked for the other side because my ex works for the state, for the system, for CPS.
So wait,
Per
let
se.
me stop you. You hired a great attorney, by the way, a good attorney,
Yep,
but the only reason you lost him is because you fired the other attorney, because the one that gave him the Pro Hoc Vici, meaning the one that was with him for the Pro Hoc Vici. Pro Hoc Vici.
absolutely. Yes. So
Tell them what a Pro Hoc Vici is.
yeah. So I retained Richard Ducote, who is a national expert in litigating child abuse cases.
Mhm.
And he has a very good reputation. And he argued and won his Pro Hoc Vice acceptance to represent me in court.
Mhm.
And then my attorney, my local attorney, was refusing to ask a second judge to recuse. She said, I already asked for one. I'm not doing it a second time. And Richard's like, I don't trust her because that judge had told her, I know I know Stacy's ex personally and professionally and don't think he did the things as alleged. And my attorney was refusing to get him to recuse based upon that statement. And Richard said, Stacy, you can't have this attorney.
Mhm.
And so when she was let go from my case, Richard had to apply for Pro Hoc Vice again, which he did nothing in the case. He had only got his acceptance Pro Hoc Vice. He couldn't have said anything to offend anyone. He couldn't have done anything contemptuous. He couldn't have done, because all he did was argue his Pro Hoc Vice acceptance. And then when I got my new attorneys, without reason, without any, you know, rationale stipulated to the record, they would not allow Richard Ducote to come back on my case.
Yep. So you guys have to be careful with that. Sometimes you have to, you know, that if you know, if the attorney that you hire, say in California, knows the corruption, he or she will deal with the corrupt attorney that they have to deal with in the other state, but they know how to deal with corrupt attorneys, meaning very
Correct.
little will be said to them, but they will do all the work for you.
Right.
Basically, that's
You
what it is.
do. What I have learned since then is I think it's nearly impossible to find attorneys who don't have some sort of compelling interest otherwise than to help you.
Mhm.
And so you have to learn how to take the horse by the reins.
Mhm.
So even if you do have a corrupt attorney, there are ways to corner them to get them to do what they're supposed to do for your case.
But
And
it's better when there's another attorney cornering them, because again, you
right,
still don't know the strategy. You still don't know.
right.
You don't
Yeah,
know.
so
You don't know.
it's definitely a layer of protection when there's somebody with expertise that is overlooking what a corrupt attorney is doing and and taking the horse by the reins. Absolutely.
And also, I want you guys to ask the questions too, but don't tell them why you're asking them questions. Like, for example, if you see a senior attorney, right? And like, I'm going to give you the only example I know is Attorney Davis, for example. He doesn't want to be a judge. Obviously, if he wanted to be a judge, he could have been a judge a long time ago, right? He knows that his will needed as an attorney to fight against the injustice, right? To me, in my opinion, he didn't tell me this. In my opinion, in order for you to be a judge, you're gonna have to be corrupt.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, Miss G, that's not it's not an unheard of conversation. Because I'm a paralegal, I do converse with other
You're
attorneys.
not just a paralegal. Stop saying that. You're also a physician assistant.
Okay.
Paralegal is your
But
second choice.
But
Okay.
in my role as a paralegal, I talk with other attorneys, and um, and this one attorney that I converse with, who I will not name his name, says to me, when he was in law school, he was aspiring to be a judge, and his mentors told him, "You never want to be a judge because you will owe favors for the rest of your life
Yep.
to
Yeah.
get that position."
Yep.
Like here in our county, there's a lot of nepotism. It's not just it's a family business in our courts up here in Lackawanna County. There's a name that's if you this is an odd fact. Have somebody in your audience Google the name Munley, Munley. That's and see how many judges with that last name come up in our town, our county alone. The head judge, he's part of the family. Then all the attorneys up here, and they all go into the same courts every day. This is their 9 to 5 job. These are their co-workers. These are the people that they're getting Christmas cards from and talking about their kids with in the halls because they already know what your case is. It's already been predetermined before you got in there. These people have a
Move,
system, a plan that works, and it's just going through
Yeah.
the motions. Just like
move.
a cat.
Also, but it's not just your county. Same thing with California. My ex is a judge, and her son, he's in school to be, attorney slash judge.
So I was
And
driving.
also be careful because they also use their middle name as their last name. So basically, if the last name is Thompson, right, and then the sibling, his last name is Thompson, the sibling can use uh, Smith as the middle name instead of Thompson.
100%.
Yep.
100%.
So be
But you
careful.
know,
They're
Miss
all
G,
related, all of them.
there's
Yeah.
there's hope, and I want to talk about this a little bit. It's the bystander effect, okay?
Mhm.
So I was just recently, as you know, driving through Pennsylvania,
Mhm.
and I
What part?
was in Coudersport or something like that in New York, and it's such a small town, and I had to stop for gas, and at the gas station it was full service, so I started talking with the woman as she was pumping my gas, and I was like, whoa, this is a really small town, when to get to court it's next door to the Spalding Hardware, and you have to walk past the pile of mulch to get into the courtroom.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly right.
It was so small.
It's the
And
same thing here.
yeah, it was so small, but it was the opposite of what you described, Dave. In that town in Coudersport, New York, the woman was telling me, we love our judge. She said,
Oh.
there's so much transparency. Everybody knows what's going on.
Mhm.
And we just had a pedophile in town that we just chased out of town.
Good for you.
And so there's the bystander effect. When you get into these larger cities,
Mhm.
a huge crime can happen in front of an entire crowd of people, and not one report will be made about the crime because everybody else thinks it's the other person's job.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so what you see, like where I live, where you live, where you're saying there's all this corruption, all this cronyism, all this nepotism, all these evil isms, racism, sexism, right? All those evil isms. Everybody needs to rally against it.
And also,
Stop
but
allowing it.
But people are afraid. I spoke to hundreds of thousands of people throughout my time with Davis, and all of them would promise me they're gonna do. They're going to start. Um, like if we gather protests together. How many years have I been talking about this, Stacy? For a long time. Start a protest in every county, every state, what have you. When they see all the people marching together,
Right.
we're going to be frightened. And that's what
Right.
people don't understand. But wait, there's more. Then they will come back towards the end and say, well, the social worker told me that if I start a protest, they're gonna come after me harder. And I know they threaten. I know that for a fact. Social workers will threaten to you to your face. You can't do shit about it because again, they're gonna side with evil. Evil will always side with evil.
It shouldn't be left to the people who are vulnerable. The whole town should be rallying.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
shouldn't be, it just shouldn't be the people that are vulnerable that are left to do the rallying. It should be the whole town.
Correct.
Because one thing that we know about judges, one thing that is pretty unanimous is they care about their reputation.
Mm-hmm.
So when they have to care more about what their cronies and their relatives think of them weighs more to them than what the public opinion is, that means the public is sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And shame on the public, because it's the public that's allowing their democracy to be eroded.
Hi. Hi, sweetness. Yeah, but you're right. That's his beautiful daughter. Look how cute she is. She looks just like him, by the way. Just the female version of her dad. Yeah. I can
We have a thunderstorm, a really bad thunderstorm rolling through, so you're probably gonna hear quite a bit of lightning and everything
see
outside.
it.
So,
The
I
trees
love it.
behind you. Oh my God. But it's not cold because Paige is wearing short sleeve, right? Paige, is it cold outside? Is it cold or?
it's been in the upper 70s, low 80s today.
Oh wow,
So
that's
for Pennsylvania, that's pretty warm. It might
my
be,
friend,
but
my
then
friend
again,
is in Pennsylvania, by the way. She's scared now. She said she moved to Pennsylvania about a month ago,
oh
and
boy.
yeah, and I don't know what area in Pennsylvania she moved to, but she got a job offer there. But she said the living is cheaper there, but than California. However, the pay is less than California.
It's true. Yeah, you don't make all this much more money, and then it's supply and demand, Miss G.
Yeah, I know.
Supply and demand.
But let's go back to the siblings of the judges. You guys have to understand the attorneys that you hire could have a dad who's a judge.
Yeah, we our judge right now. Every couple months, he there's one thing. I'm a veteran, and I don't go around bragging about my service. I do talk about it, but I don't go around taking full-size roadside, building-size billboards out
Right.
saying what I supposedly did. Like this judge, Tom Munley. He's a senior judge. He's a president judge for Lackawanna County, and in the town we live in, he and a couple other places, he'll take out these giant billboards for himself, talking about thank me for my service. He the analogy I like to use when describing him, he's breaking his arm while jerking himself off.
Say the last part again, Dave.
He, in my opinion, he's broken his arm jerking himself off, and he deserves a Purple Heart for that.
Okay, that's what I thought I heard. That's okay. That's okay.
What a day it is today, Miss G.
I know it's been one of those days, Dave.
Sorry about the crude language, but it's
okay. That's okay. No, but I understand where you're coming from. Corruption pretty much describes the word corruption describes everything to us. Judges, please understand, judges owns group homes. Please, I'm begging you understand that there's group homes owned by judges, and oftentimes they will put it in the judge's wife's name or the judge's cousin's name or the judge's son's name, whatever. But please keep that in mind. Any group home that your child is in, do your due diligence to really get a private investigator and see who that group home belongs to. Because they don't belong to the government. They're an entity working through the agent. I mean, working through the government. Am I right, Stacy? Did I say that right? I mean,
Yep.
yeah. So be careful with that because they will make the money. You guys, this is so corrupt. I'm telling you, the only way to make a difference is when they see everyone protesting. Protest
Yeah.
will make a difference. It's not just your vote that will make a change. It's not just the vote. Because remember, we can vote for a party that we think is the right fit. Because
They need to fear
yeah,
the public opinion more than the opinion of their cronies.
Yeah, Lee Jamie had made a point there. She knows the judge I'm talking about in the
yeah.
family. They're slumlords. They own vast amounts of property and low income property. The people that they take rent from, they are presiding over cases over. It's literally they're feeding
And they're
themselves.
probably they're probably
Tom
stealing. They're
Tom
probably
Munley, Joe Munley, they're slumlords. They're exploiting the Section 8. They were my landlords for many years, and I know the family well. They let me into their homes. I've seen how they work firsthand. I've had many over 14 years conversations.
beyond this. Just imagine how they acquired those properties, because
Yeah,
I'm sure they did not acquire them honestly.
Nope.
no, there's a thing that Joe and Tom love to say. There's millions to be made from the pennies of the poor. Or no, I'm sorry. There's millions of dollars to be made from picking the pockets of the pennies of the poor.
Yeah.
It's something like that. I'm getting but that's what they're doing. They've they're going into the poorest people's property, and they know, and their tenants know that they're the judge and the judge's brother, and they throw their names around like this is your get out of jail free ticket. Or if you don't do this, hey, I'll put a good word in with my brother before he goes on the stand. Or hey, if you don't do this for me, or if you don't do this favor for me, I'm going to put a bad word in for the judge in front of you. Or because my sister-in-law, she's the head of children and youth down in the courthouse. They're all connected, and it's a nepotism family tree. And you're right; it's not just here; it's everywhere. But I can only speak for where I live, what I've
And
seen
then
firsthand.
and then we see here Lee Jamie's comment again. Um, they likely maintain
Yeah,
the properties poorly because they know that if the tenants complain, they're going to get evicted.
that's
And then they're going to
exactly
have problems with their family and problems with their finances, because then the court's going to take their kids from them and everything else. Because
that's
then they don't have
exactly.
a stable place to live.
Before we bought our house last year, we were facing eviction. Why? We asked Joe Munley to do some basic repairs to get the house up to livable conditions. Though the place was infested with, we asked him to do something about the vermin infestation. We asked him to do something about the black mold covering every surface. We asked something about him to do the pigeons crawling through the walls, or the mushrooms growing out of our bathroom, or the raw sewage leaking into our basement. And we took video of all this. I really need an editor to help me put all this video footage together, because he's a grade A example of a slumlord who extorts his tenants, throw them under the bus to his family, to his brother. If you don't shut up and do what I say, or if you report me, I'll throw you under the bus. And he did exactly that to us. He took us to court when we complained, and he had us evicted.
Yep.
So we bought a house.
And
So, I mean,
the retaliation for your complaining is likely the guardianship your daughter is placed in.
yeah, exactly. They knew exactly what was going on. The case went before my landlord's, his very first, very close relative that shared the name Munley, one of the Munley judges. I can't think of her name, but she's one of the family court judges. She's one of the judges that was involved in the case early on. And then, I mean, it's just a nepotism nightmare up here. The one CPS,
David, do you know about Title IV federal funding?
this is the first I'm hearing of it. What's
Look
that?
into it. Title IV. It's TITLE, and then the Roman numerals, IV, right? Title IV, federal funding. So, and what Ms. G is always trying to expose is when CPS removes kids from home, and when your daughter is put into this guardianship, the states get Title IV federal funding with the monies that are exchanged from these processes, and it's federal funding that they get from the government, and they have a fiduciary incentive to do what they're doing with these Section 8 tenants, and then putting them through the system if they dare complain, go after their kids. go after the family, go after their estates too. If people have homes and stuff, they're likely getting money from the bank that is incentivizing them to take people's homes from them too.
Guys, I need you guys to share this show everywhere. Jamie, I know you do the same. Dave, do the same on your other shows too. Share this so people can understand what we mean by Title IV funding and what the government is up to. We need to spread the word out there, guys, and we cannot spread the word without you guys out there also helping us.
So, Dave, I need to tell you something else.
Sure.
This federal funding that they're taking is in violation of the state's contract with the federal government.
Mhm.
Okay, I think it's like it's like 28 USC 602, something like that. But I could be totally wrong. But I think it's a 602.
602. It is 602. I think.
Okay. So it's a contract violation when they are accepting these federal funds, but are not meeting the guidelines in the agreement to accept the federal funding. And the Section 602 says that there isn't supposed to be all this cronyism and nepotism that you're describing. There's supposed to be policies and procedures in place to prevent fraud, waste, abuse, cronyism, nepotism, patronage, political patronage, and so forth. So they are in violation of their contract to receive this Title IV federal funding. And a complaint to the U.S. Department of Human Services, OIG, that they're in violation of their contract with Title IV federal funding should be made and investigated.
Okay, I wrote all that down.
So Dave, we need if you need help downloading something, for example, or putting stuff together, talk to me and Stacy. Stacy, you're good at that too, right? No,
I'm good at.
You're good about it.
Oh yeah, for helping him file a complaint about it. Sure.
Yeah.
Or exposing it online. I mean,
yeah, there's a website to go to. I sent it to somebody the other day. Let me find it and I'll share it. Hold on.
Yeah.
I also use like help with the video editing. I'm really good at making videos, but I'm really poor at editing videos.
Okay, I learned about editing videos recently. Well, not recently. I've been learning about it for 6 months now.
Yeah.
I can help you with that. Okay.
Okay.
You have to have the program, and I bought the program. Yeah.
That's why because I've been using the free versions of stuff like.
You have to buy it. You have to invest in it. I invested in it. Yeah.
That's what we're gonna need. My YouTube channel is doing pretty well. I'm starting to get some AdSense revenue, and I have a few people that want to do some sponsorships with me. So,
good. And share this video today. Share it on your YouTube channel. I can share the link with you and share it on your YouTube channel because, again, people need to understand there's more to it than just only corruption. There's more to the corruption that people don't understand. Section 8 is involved. There's the other one too is called it's not Section 8. It's called Hub, which is they pay the owner or the owner of the building where the housing is. Like say for example, it should be only rented for $1,500. Hub will pay
the maximum.
$3,200, the max, right? And so the owner will make more money from Hub. So it's called Hub. There's Hub and there's Section 8. They're two different things.
Here's what happened when I contacted the Hub. I talked to this gentleman. I think his name was Richard Lord, and I showed him. I sent him video and photos and written descriptions of the living conditions in there, and his response was, "I need more verifiable proof."
Right.
There's insect vermin crawling out of my walls and black mold covering stuff, and there's raw sewage leaking onto electrical wires. And he kept saying, "I need more proof. I need more proof." And I'd send him all this video. He said, "I still don't understand what you're reporting, what you're trying to. This is." I'm like, okay, basic habitable conditions require vermin not to be crawling through the walls, black mold and sewage. I mean, it's just, I would love to share this video, but even doing something like basic sharing a link like you just mentioned a moment ago, I'm not really sure how to do that. I'm very limited in my technical abilities at this point. I'm learning on the fly. So any help that you could offer, please.
But wait. If you guys recall, when I said to you guys, the government, these people are narcissistic individual. Why did I say that? Because Dave just explained it perfectly. He just said it perfectly. He said you show them the evidence, but he's still denying he has evidence. He's still playing around, saying that he's having Dave question his reality because he's convincing Dave that his reality is false. When in reality, when it's factual that he is the one confusing Dave because he doesn't want to take responsibility for his own actions. That's a narcissistic, sociopathic individuals. So again, that's how the system works. The system thrives on narcissism. The
And
system really loves a narcissist to take office or to be in office or to be in control of an office. I'm telling you, that's what it is. Go ahead,
then
Dave. You
he's
finish.
already familiar with Joe Munlin, and he didn't want to do anything about it. I mean, still, he knew this guy. People had been reporting him before. I was giving him more evidence and he's turning a blind eye, and he knew about him. And what more evidence do you want? Is it normal to live with rodents and vermin and all this other disgust and not have your sewage and your plumbing working? He
Mhm.
was making it out to be like we had water running down our walls right after Paige had brain surgery. There was water and black mold coming down the walls. And Joe Munley comes into our house and says, I don't see anything wrong with it. It's supposed to leak a little. It's okay. It's just condensation. No, it's so many times our furnace would go out and he would leave us hanging over. There was about 2 weeks during the winter. We tried calling for help. We tried reporting him to the borough. The borough won't do anything about it. They won't even take a complaint against this guy because he owns over 200 properties, 300 properties in this county alone. That's
Yeah,
just the one person. Yeah, and the family. They own. I know they own hundreds more. They've told me they have. I've been to dozens of their properties, and they all look the same. They're all run down except for the place where they live personally. And even in Joe's house, it's a slumlord castle. It really is. It looks like there should be porno going on there.
yeah,
But whatever. I mean, the judge's house isn't much better. It's gaudy as all sin, and everybody in the county knows where he lives in Jessup.
that's crazy.
Yeah. It's welcome to Pennsylvania. Welcome to Lackawanna County.
No, welcome to America.
Oh yeah, yeah. George Carlin.
Yeah,
When you're born into this country, or when you're born, you get a ticket to the show. When you're born an American citizen, you get a front row seat to the show.
correct. That's
Carlin,
how.
I miss
I
people
mean,
like him.
yeah, like Hub and Section 8 in California is just as bad. There's a judge in particular that I know of very well. I know her by name, by last name, who she is. Um, God knows her by name too. Anyways, she's involved with corruption, and her son soon will be involved as well. And unfortunately, she's behind Section 8 and Hub as well, also, and she's helping commit fraud and you know the person she lies in bed with. Um, it is sad. It's very sad. A lot of us know the truth, and we expose the truth, but still they tend to believe the lies in their head. And
Yeah.
that's why I believe taking a stand by marching one by one, whether you're white, black, Middle Eastern, Chinese, Asian, whatever you are, purple, green, yellow, it doesn't matter. You need to march and we need to stand up together. Together.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So many tenants of his have come up to me and they've seen my videos, and even just local residents, and we talk. Thank you, and they come up to me. Thank you for standing up. Thank you for putting a sign on your house. Thank you for taking all your town to court and being you know right trying to stand up for your First Amendments being chilled. We all have this First Amendment right to speak out against the government Sometimes it takes strong words to get that conversation started. But once we have that door open and we can start that conversation, only then can we affect real change. But
Mhm.
somebody else in our audience has enough courage to do what we have done and put a sign up on their house criticizing the government. Maybe they can earn a few dollars from their town when they lose in federal court.
Mhm.
So who knows? But that's our case. We went to court. We had one offer for them. We offered to settle for $300, and then they returned they returned with a counter offer and said, "No, we're going to give you $5,000." I'm like, I was going to be happy with $300, But okay, you for 5,000. All right, I'm still going to win. I still have my First Amendment, and I'm going to make them look like a fool. But
Mhm. Yeah, and that's we again, Jamie mentioned something to you, Dave. Hold on.
related.
Uh, she's she said something about Dave. We can protest. Dave, we need those. Oh, here we go. So she said, we can protest, Dave. We need those signs for Wayne County, and I think yeah.
I have an offer for you, Lee Jane. I recently went on eBay and I found a vendor who is very empathetic to the First Amendment, and
Mhm.
he's sent me a deal on some flags. They're white flags with that famous phrase that's on my house: "Fuck the government," in red letters. So it's a 3x5 flag. It's compliant to zoning standards, and
Wait,
I'm
wait, 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 wait. Did you mention what did you say the flex is? If the government?
we put a sign on our house a couple months ago that said
Uh,
"fuck the government" on the property that we own. The government, our local town, said you can't do that. You're not allowed to say that. They tried saying that's offending the neighbors,
okay,
and they just
guys,
take our
guys,
sign down.
right. Listen to me. If you want to attack the enemy, don't use the demonic language. I used to use it. Don't take me wrong. When you say
No,
the F word, that is again, demons say the F word when they're forced to come out of someone in the name of Christ, right? They say
I
the F word.
because
Do not
I
say it. Yeah,
it's the
do not.
government I grew up in. It's the people I associate with. They use it commonly. We don't see it anything as
No.
it's another word.
It's not what you don't see. The devil doesn't want you to see what is right. He wants you to make excuses for what's wrong to keep on doing it. It's wrong to say it. I don't even want my ears to hear it anymore. And I'm saying this for a reason because God has been working on me for a long time, Dave. Because once I saw the corruption with CPS and what they do to children, I started cussing. I started getting angry. I started for everyone, not just me, everyone.
Oh, I
And
don't.
I
I,
asked God to help me stop cussing, and He's always showing me why it's important for our mouth not to cuss. Remember
I
that.
know that.
Yeah,
There's cooking
yeah.
and then there's using language. And I'll give you an example here. I live in Pennsylvania, Dutch country. I grew up in it. And
Mhm.
there's a farm. It's a very successful family. And their last name is Fucker. Fucher. And that's their name. It's a common Deutsch word, and it's used by the Amish. It's their last name. I understand your point of view. I respect your point of view. It's not for everybody.
Yeah,
There's a Supreme Court justice that once said, um, prior to the Cohen versus California case, that one man's lyric is another man's vulgarity.
yeah.
I agree with that.
But I
There are
want to
certain
say
words.
something. Not to interrupt you, Dave, but I want to say something real quick. When you hang out with people that say the F word a lot, you tend to say it automatically, whether it's the fuck or whether it's the fu or whatever it is, any cuss words. When you hear it a lot, your mouth starts repeating it. That's why it's very important for you not to hear it. And if you have people around you that say it, don't be around them. Don't
Oh,
disrespect them.
it's
Just tell them you don't want to hear it.
I don't
Don't
judge
say it
people.
in front of me, and that's it. It is very important, you guys, to understand cussing is not going to help your situation. It's going to put a curse in your situation.
It's not for everybody. It's not.
Yeah,
I
that's
respectfully agree.
against God, and you believe in God Almighty, not the God of this earth. I'm not talking about Satan, because Satan also, people call him God. He's not my God. I'm talking about my Heavenly Father, Jesus Christ, the one that came and redeemed our sins. Now understand, this is the God I'm talking about. If
And
it's
just
against him,
personal
do
faith,
not.
I'm more aligned with the Buddhist faith than anything.
Okay.
My daughter, she aligns with atheism.
Okay.
It's my wife has a different spiritual view beyond that.
Mhm.
And we when we start looking beyond that and accept that I love you for what you are and who you are and what you believe in, and I'll let you believe in whatever you want. Okay.
Mhm.
But when we have policies that need to be rectified, we can't use that as a justification for blind ignorance either. We need to move
Yeah,
forward.
but again, you don't have to say if the government on your flag, you could easily say our government is corrupt. Enough is enough. That would
Well,
bring
it's
us.
our right to say that as American citizens. But what you may not agree with, I mean, that's what I really love about America and being an American citizen. We don't have to agree with what each other say, but at least we have to listen to it. And
Okay.
that's the kind of thing. I will gladly listen to what you have to say all day and respect your opinions. And then
I'm
in return,
talking about the flag. Let's get to the flag right now. When you said that they told you you cannot say that, right?
yeah,
If the government, why
yeah.
don't you change it to something different? Why can't you just change it to something like our government is corrupt, enough is enough?
I thought about that, and because we are in such a state with the world we live in, sometimes it does take a powerful word or a
Mhm.
powerful image to invoke a conversation. If you think back to the Vietnam War, there's an image of a little girl running naked with napalm on her back, being burned alive, running away from a attack in Vietnam. There's no words in that image. She's naked. You can clearly see that, and yet it was shown on the cover of Life magazine or Time magazine, and it
Mhm.
won many awards. Sometimes I'm not comparing what I'm doing to that, but it's a powerful image. Just like the F word is a very powerful word, and it's only to be used in times of crisis to be able to invoke the conversation when all of the words have failed and we need to start talking. If we can talk about that, we disagree with the way we feel about the F word, so be it. I'll listen to it. I want to know why you feel this way because maybe you'll take the time then to understand why I feel this way and we can fix what's wrong. And I don't
Mhm.
have
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear the F word. I don't want to hear any cuss words. It took me a while, and God has been working on me to stop, even when I'm angry. And I find it also. It only came out from my mouth when I was angry.
yeah,
But I never used to cuss. I came from a home that never cussed, and but again, when I started seeing injustice and my parents died and I started seeing the world for what it is, I started hearing it a lot and I started saying it a lot and I started getting angrier and angrier. And as I get angry, I say it more and more. But I realize it's really not helping, right? It's not a good thing to say. Cussing is not a good thing. It's not.
cursing and cussing, they're different things, but
Yeah.
there's technically using words in a constructive way to, like I said, open the door. I'm not cursing at anyone in particular. Who is the government? You can use the F word in very many different ways. Um, I can say I effing love something when referring to my favorite food. I but I may not. Or you can use it as an expletive to curse something and show vanity and anger towards. I don't like using it in that context. It's a very unpleasant way to use something. I don't like using angry words unless, well, you're backed into a corner. It's kind of a response. I'm a U.S. Marine. I grew up in an orphanage. It was a word that was used common in my trade as a truck driver and in logistics. And then
I
when
know,
I
but
went to
you're
college,
talking to a Christian woman who doesn't go by what's normal to society. I don't live according to society. I live according to God's word. And a lot of people will like do harm to other people and say God told me to do it or it's in
yeah,
the Bible. None of this is in the Bible. God never told us to do any harm to anyone. God told us to love our enemy and pray for those who persecute us. Those we pray for them. We don't go and hurt them deliberately. The only thing is when it comes to injustice, when it comes to warriors of God, God sends different warriors, right, to fight the battles. So there's battles that needs to be fought, but God's children fights those battles. So to me, if we all connect together, we all walk the same way together to protest against the corruption of the government and against all the injustice, all the pain they inflict on parents and children. That's what we need to do. right?
That's right.
Cussing is not going to do anything, right? They're not good. They don't care about you cussing at them. They don't care because a narcissist, again, a narcissist welcomes your anger. Why? Because that narcissist will get a great deal of supply that gives him an ego, high control when they see us angry. But when they see us not angry, but yet we're determined to put a stop to what they're doing, that's a complete different story. That's when they fear us. Because again, we are the ones paying their salary. It's not the other way around. They're taking from us. We're giving them.
And to be all honest with you, it is a bit cathartic, getting some of that frustration out. Um, like when confronted by the CPS,
Instead of getting angry, walk with the results.
you
Have results in mind instead of anger in mind. Anger is not going to get any results, anything done.
got to
Nothing.
be resourceful. Got to be resourceful. Use your brain. That's what they taught us in the Marine Corps. Use our mind before all else. Anger will cloud your judgment. You can always trust your enemy. Why? Because they're going to use poor judgment against you. You know their true intent. You know they're out to get you, and they will use any tactic at their means to do so. So always trust your enemy to do exactly that. Also, when your enemy's making a mistake, never ever stop them. If CPS shows up at your door and they're falling over their tongues left and right, and they're sticking their foot in their mouths and other orifices, let them do that. Let them make as many mistakes as they can and catch it on film. Because nothing will expose them better and unify our cause than showing all these people for the injustices that they do, especially when they're making mistakes so blatantly, so little disregard for human welfare. I
Yeah.
mean, they only plan for their pockets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All they're after is money. That's it. That's all they're after. They're
Yeah.
after money. They're after your money, but they take money from us no matter what. Taxes, and I pay tax. God,
Yeah.
I pay taxes on the money that I make, and then pay more taxes on any purchases that I make, and then pay more taxes on the purchases I made, and then I, I literally, I cannot. No one can get a unless you're corrupt. They're taking so much money from us, and plus our children, plus our housing, plus our jobs. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy that I see illegal immigrants having the upper hand to finances where the American public are starving and working several jobs, and some of them don't even make $5,000 a month with two jobs. They
Yeah.
make at most 3,000. And you guys understand that these sex traffickers, they use the illegal immigrants to take from that $5,000 a month they get for housing and food and all that. They get free housing also. They give them that $5,000 a month. Sex traffickers or the cartels or whoever they are, they take money from that money that our government is paying, that we're paying them. Like, say, for example, if it's $5,000, they'll take $2,000 or $3,000 from it, and then they leave them the $2,000
Yeah.
to ensure them that they're not going to go anywhere, to ensure them that they're going to remain in the United States. They're not going to go back to wherever they came from. Okay, and it's not just Mexico. It's Turkey. It's Kenya. It's Yemen. It's Saudi Arabia. It's Iran, Iraq. I mean, they're coming from everywhere. Most of them are people who were in jail. They were in prison.
You ever notice a lot of people from Canada or Germany or Denmark or the Netherlands or anything like that? It's all these undeveloped countries where the United States have their fingers in, or they're meddling in the foreign affairs, or setting up the banana republican puppet governments.
Right.
It's we're taking off all their chattels. We're
Mhm.
taking their overflows and their damage. You know.
Yeah, exactly. So just, it just makes me angry. And yet we're paying them to steal children, right? To give them money to the foster homes. I mean, think about it for a second. We're paying the foster parents, right? We're paying
Yeah.
the social workers. We're paying the state judges and the county, whatever the hell they call themselves. We're paying their salary. We're paying the district attorneys. They're taking from our money.
I have a question.
Let them continue to do this. If you really think about it, voting alone is not enough. We need to take a stand. I'm telling you guys, don't fear evil. If you fear evil, you don't trust God, period. Go ahead, Dave.
I, as you know, I grew up in an orphanage, and I still speak to my foster mom after 40 years.
Mhm.
And I've been telling her about my social media presence and what I've been doing on YouTube and elsewhere. I've been begging her to come on and do an interview with me, and even come on to your show or just give her 2 cents, even the commentary there in the chat box. She's a little hesitant. I am asking you though, if you could ask a foster parent who's on the front line, who's dealing with these children, can you send me a couple of questions you'd like to ask, and I'll ask my mom, and I'll get her a recorded response, or either that, or I'll use an AI generated bot to get a response if she doesn't want to cooperate. But if you could send me a couple of questions, I'll ask her and get a real response from someone who's living this every day for the last 40 years, what her opinion is.
Why can't she just be on the show? Why is she reluctant?
She feels that there's because she deals with children that are in vulnerable situations and dealing with different types of abuse, that it puts her in a compromised position to speak
Mm.
openly out and give her honest opinion about her employer for the last 40 years and the counties and the system that she works closely with. The caseworker that I have, is now the CEO of the agency she works for, and that's her boss.
Mm.
It's she's willing to do some favors for me, but she can't go cross the line. It's I respect her, and I'm not going to push her, but I will get an answer from her, even if I have to record it without her face on it. I mean, I can get some answers.
Yeah, you can get her. See, the thing is, you say the name, you say who they are, you say what county they are. I will tell people, if you don't want to be known it was you, always use a different name, always use a different county, always use a different, even different country. You could use Canada, for example.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, it doesn't have to necessarily be United States, but the only way you give yourself up is when you say your true identity.
yeah. I have nothing to hide. I live in a glass house.
I'm
I'm
talking about whistleblower, Dave. I'm not talking about you, me, and Stacy.
yeah,
We're talking about whistleblowers that you want to be on the show. They don't have to reveal who they are.
yeah,
Yeah,
true.
so that way
Okay,
she doesn't have to fear, or not fear. I hate that word, but uh, be
intimidate.
concerned about what the county might or might not do. And we all know the county will do. They will retaliate against her 100%. Um,
She doesn't want to like. Oh, she's willing to cross some lines, but not totally. And there's only so much she can do. And she has been with the same employer for 40 years.
yeah.
It's and
And you
I
with the same corruption for that long, Dave, you're okay with the corruption.
she saved my life when I had no one else to save me.
I know.
I was
I
living
know.
in a garbage dump, and she pulled me out of a literal garbage dump filled with dead animals and human
Ugh.
suffering. It was a hoarding situation where they come in, they don't even go up to the house. They just tape off the perimeter, and then they bulldoze the property and scoop it away. That's the situation I came out of into. And
How
then here
old
I
were how old
she
were you?
I was 10 years old.
And your mom, you remember your mom, your biological mom?
Oh, vividly. I remember her. She was a great example of a bad example. And I use her as a template of what not to do, how
What
not
about
to.
your dad?
Same way. He did something different. He just tried wiping his hands, started a new family 10 miles down the road, and then tried doing his best to erase me and my older sister from existence. And then ultimately he wound up committing suicide about 15 years ago, almost 20 years ago,
My God.
and didn't work out too good for him. So, and they were, like I said, they were great examples of bad examples. When I felt like when the courts were ordering them to have to spend time with me, when the court, because they didn't want to, when you're 10 years old, 9 years old, 12 years old, in that really impressionable age, and you can read and you can write and you can understand, and you can see that the courts are forcing your parents to come and at least act human around you for an hour while being supervised. I remember that. I never wanted that to happen to Paige. I never wanted to be that person who was being forced to see my children under threat of going to jail if I didn't. I was never gonna. She was gonna be my my shining example of all the bad things that happened to me as a child. None of that was going to be her, and I've done my best. I've done my best to keep the demons away, but children, youth, they still find you. It's like once they smell fresh meat or blood,
Yep.
you're tagged for life.
Um,
I gave.
this
Go
is
ahead.
something that David just mentioned right now. It's another example of what I've been saying as well too, where they forced the bad parents to be with the children that they
Yeah.
already destroyed, and the good parents, they alienate them from the children. When the good parents did nothing and they want to be with their child or children, in the same way, vice versa, the child or the children want to go back to home, but yet they separate them. But the bad ones who did this, like example, his mother, he said she's a perfect example of what bad is. That's exactly what it is. They were being forced to see Dave when they didn't want to see Dave. But the good ones are being forced to be alienated from their children.
It got so bad at one point.
Crazy. They don't want the damaged kids. So Dave to them is a damaged kid.
Yeah, I was garbage,
Well,
and
I'm sorry to say it that way, but that's how they say it. They actually said that in writing, and I've seen it. A
it,
damaged kid is a kid who's been abused. They're damaged goods. They don't want them. Okay, what they take them for, put them in a group home, especially to sex traffic them, because it's easier to sex traffic a damaged kid.
and that's
Okay,
where I used to my abuser.
I'm just, yeah, they're so corrupt, so corrupt. That's why I get angry, you guys, when I talk about them. They're so corrupt because I know so much. I know so much.
My
If I
abuser.
tell you guys every day what I know,
Yeah, my abuser
I
was
don't
my
know.
kid. He was
Yeah.
Tony. I him because of foster care. But getting back to the home, that garbage pit I lived in, it got so bad after they put me back in that environment. They knew the trash was there. They knew the rotting animals and the situation. I ran away barefoot with just a ratty jean shorts on a t-shirt. It was a very cold day. It was at the end of summer, and I ran away. It was about 10 miles to my foster home to escape that. Uh, I walked in a straight line. I knew the area around it, and I hid at my foster home
Mhm.
because of the environment that the county wanted to put me back in. I knew right from wrong. I knew that you shouldn't have to sleep on a pile of garbage, or you shouldn't have to lick the old cheese out of a pizza box, and that
Mhm.
toilets were supposed to work, and that you were supposed to have hot water.
Mhm.
I when I was growing up when I was 5, 6 years old, I didn't know any better. I thought that was the norm. And
Yep.
then when I saw foster care and I saw a clean home and I saw there was food in the refrigerator that wasn't rotten and I saw that there wasn't dead animals tied up in different rooms and that there wasn't my grandmother, she was elderly, she was left to rot in a basement room screaming. And it was either you make a deal with the devil or you go straight to hell. And the foster care wasn't heaven, but it sure as hell wasn't hell.
Nope.
And it was a matter of survival. It's not that if I had another choice, I would have gone to that,
But
but I
listen,
didn't. I didn't know any
that,
better.
that's because you're already damaged. We're talking about kids who have not been damaged by their parents. There's a
Yeah,
lot of innocent children out there and innocent parents who did nothing, did absolutely nothing. So we're coming towards the end of the show, and I want to share what Stacy was talking about earlier: is file complaint for contract fraud. So
okay.
there's this form right here is to file a complaint for a contract fraud. I'm sharing it with everyone. Okay. The link here it is. Let's see. Dave, I know you see it now, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is to file a complaint for contract fraud. Uh-oh. Says an error occurred. Wait a moment, then try again. I don't know what happened here. Uh okay, you guys see it, right?
I see it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay. It's giving me like an error message. Yeah, okay, yeah. Dave, I'm so sorry you went through this, man. I really am, but
I'm a better
imagine
person.
imagine the kids who didn't live that life and they're in the system. Just imagine that.
I
Just for
know.
us to imagine that. Yeah.
If there are any
That-
kids out there watching this, and my heart goes out, it will
yeah.
get better. Just have some faith and have some hope. Believe in yourself beyond
Yeah.
all else.
Believe um, in yourself. Believe in your ability to make a difference, right, in the world. Because oftentimes we have to go through tragedy in order for us to help others. Because if you did not walk through the fire, you can't help others, right? Not
It,
walk through the fire. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've been through hell and I've seen the other side. And you can make it through it. You just have to have faith. You have to be you're resourceful. You have to be ingenious. And even if you don't have faith, believe in yourself until you find the faith that you're looking for, or until it finds you, because it's key to everything. Believing
It
in
is.
yourself until you find the faith,
Yeah.
or it finds you, because
Yeah.
it
And
will.
always think positive and speak positive of yourself and the situation because, again, whatever that comes out of your mouth is going to create, right?
Yeah.
Remember that. Make sure that what comes out of your mouth is nothing but positivity, because positive and speaking positive over your case or over and pray over the judge by name and the social workers and all that. I'm telling you, you will see a better outcome than if you keep saying negative. I'm going to lose, or I'm going to do this. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. No, no, no. It's
Positive
not.
way.
Yeah, it's like basically you're saying this is my destiny. What I'm saying out of my mouth is what's going to happen. That's exactly what you're doing to yourself. Do not do that. Be positive even when things in front of you does not look positive. Remember, the enemy wants you to be confused. Confusion comes from the enemy, it does not come from God. God didn't create you to be in the trash can. God didn't create for your family to beat you. God didn't do any of this. The enemy, when the devil and demons are after us, right? They're going to create a lot of damage in front of us, and then they're going to tell you it's God. Why did God allow to do this? Why did God do this? Why did God do this? God didn't do any of this,
Yeah.
right? But God gave us instructions, right, and how to fight back against spiritual warfare. But we're not using it because we want the easy way out. We want to be helped without really having faith in your creator. And that's the way I look at life. And that's what God showed me since I was 6 years old. 6 years old. I have seen miracles in front of my own eyes. Nobody had to, I didn't become a Coptic Orthodox Christian in Egypt because my parents are. I became a Christian because I've seen God's work. As a little girl, I have seen God's work. I have seen demons tremble by the name of Yeshua, which is Jesus in American, but his real name is Yeshua. In all other countries, they call him Yeshua except here. But again, his name is Yeshua. When you mention Yeshua and the name of Yeshua, the demons tremble. They get scared of that name.
No.
I have
And
seen.
just from
Go
my
ahead.
point of view, with a little bit of a tactical sense, there was a Marine Corps general named Chesty Puller. He's very famous among the Marines. And during one of the battles for the Pacific Islands, his troops were surrounded. His position, his everything, he was completely encircled.
Mhm.
There was nowhere for him to go. The Japanese had asked him to surrender, and then his response is, "Surrender? Hell no! They can't escape from us now." Yeah, he was encircled, but the Japanese had nowhere else to go. They can't escape from him. When you're
Mhm.
feeling outnumbered and outgunned and encircled by them, dig in, look at them, and just realize that when they're encircling you, you have them where you want them. They
Mhm.
can't hide from you if
Mhm.
surrounded. So it's time to dig in like an Alabama blue tick, and then give them hell like Chesty Puller did in World War II.
Okay.
So that's my take on from the military.
I love the show today. Thank you so much, Dave, for joining me again. And yes,
It's a,
go over today. That's wonderful.
you're
And
the best.
you're the best too. Give your daughter a hug from me. I love her so much. And give that cat a big kiss. That black cat was so cute.
He's gonna give me a big drooly kiss. And if anybody wants to see my channel, it's Pity Zaraz, PITYZAR.
I've been watching it, and my cat just destroyed my bathroom, and I just looked at them and I just hugged them and kissed them. They don't know what they're doing, but they're so cute. I can't help it.
There's
Oh my god! Hi, sweetness.
She
Hey.
is 14 years old, and she wants to be surgically attached to Paige. She is Paige's twin. She's a Turkish Angora.
She's
She's had a
beautiful.
baby.
Absolutely stunning. Oh my gosh.
She's been
I
sleeping
I
next
love
to
cats, you guys. I don't know. I don't want to be the one of those moms that have like 10 cats. I've seen a kitten in the store. I went to Petco to get my cat's food last night, and I see a kitten, right? And I'm like looking at her being held by her new owner, and I said, "Oh my God, she's so adorable." And she said, "Yeah, I've never had a cat before." I said, "I have two." And she said, "Yeah, it's expensive." I said, "Yes, they are, but it's worth it." And she said, "Well, I
yeah.
don't know what it is, and give her to me." I'm one of those moms now. It's like, give me your cat if you don't want your cat.
Our neighbor, I was outside doing yard work yesterday real quick, and our neighbor comes up to me and he says, "Hey, my cat's giving kittens, giving birth to kittens right now. I have 3 kittens." Comes back later, "I have 6 cats now, 6." So
Mhm.
they're old, and he wants me to come over and look at them. I'm
I
like,
want
"I don't
cats.
want
I
to
want
bother
more.
more."
I know there's so. If you would have seen her, Dave. Dave. Oh my God, Dave! I lost my mind. Her eyes are blue, and she's like a beige brownish color. And I can't think. Her face was so precious. Oh my gosh! Look at this one too.
Yeah,
I,
this one, he's our biggest cat. He's probably about 13, 14 pounds, and he's about 9 or 10 months old. He's our trash can's brother.
oh
He's a
my
he's
Oh my gosh. See, I can't. I need yeah, and now I want more cats and I don't know what to do. I think
nothing wrong with that. Save more kitties. They're wonderful, and we love them.
yes, and don't you feel it when you're sad and they come to you? So I have a dog and 2 cats, right?
Yeah.
Molly, my dog, she comes and she just like just sits by my feet, but she doesn't like, she tries to like show me affection, but that's it, right? With my cats, they come, and the other day I was crying, right? Because my friend's husband got injured on duty, and her husband is a cop. He got injured on duty. So I was sad and I was crying because I've known him since high school. And so Amun and Osiris come to me and they push my chin up, my head up, and then they all cuddle like this on my chest. And then Osiris gets his other paw and puts it behind my neck, and so does Amun. So I was literally grabbed like this with gentleness, and they were purring.
Oh,
They were sad that I'm crying, and they didn't want to let me go. Usually they will sit on my chest for a little bit and I stand like a robot. And so, because if I move, they're going to move. And I didn't want to move. And, usually that's what happens. If I moved, they would go. But this time I moved and they didn't want to leave me. I realized I called Stacy. I said, Stacy, I'm a cat lover. I can't believe how compassionate my cats are towards me. I don't know if you felt that with cats, but I've experienced dogs and I've experienced cats, and cats, I think to me, doesn't mean dogs are bad. I love dogs too, but cats to me are the most affectionate out of
yeah.
animals, I think.
3 weeks
Yeah.
ago, when our kitten Chester died of leukemia. He was a 2-year-old kitten. He died on his birthday.
Yeah.
Our dog, previous service dog, Schwartzy Bear. He's a little Shih Tzu
Mm,
poodle. He's a Shih
mm.
Poo. I love saying that. Anyways, moments after Chester passed away in our living room, he comes over and he's sitting by Chester, and then we go to get a blanket to wrap Chester up, and Schwartzy Bear follows us, and then we lay Chester down to let the other cats, say goodbye to Chester, and he's there the entire time. In fact, it was so. I'm getting choked up. I took a quick picture of Schwartzy Bear, and just the tip of you can see Chester wrapped up in a blanket, just his ears sticking out. Schwartzy Bear looking over him, guarding him, and I'm
I
gonna
cry
start.
too. I become emotional. I know. There, you guys.
I miss my little baby boy
I
Chester.
know. I know. I'm so sorry, babe. I'm so sorry. But honestly, now I know why my mom loved cats, because growing up in Egypt, my mom had cats, and one of them was called Mishmish. He was an orange cat with white stripes and the most beautiful, and he had even orange eyes, like orange and yellow eyes. And Mishmish stayed with us until like we were older, but he passed away, and I remember my mom cried for him forever, for years and years and years, cried for that cat.
I
You have
understand
a
why.
dog like that color too?
Yeah. Oh.
Did he run away? Did he
Yeah.
run
Yeah.
off?
I have a son. Come here, Carl. He's a star of our YouTube channel. He's just going around in circles here. Come here, Carl.
He probably got scared because of the sound. They usually do that. Like you moved something and it was too loud for him.
Come here, baby boy. Come here. You're gonna love Carl.
Let me see. Oh my gosh. Hello.
Carl has 29 toes.
What? Hi, sweetness.
Look at his
Hi,
paws.
my baby. Oh my gosh. She's so beautiful. Oh my gosh.
Just get him on the. He has 29 toes. He's a polydactyl. Oh, he's got extra earlobes. He's got 29 toes
Hi,
and
baby.
one eye.
Hi, my love. Hi, my precious. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
He's a rescue. And he started a YouTube channel. I actually have a YouTube channel, Polydactyl Cat Carl. And for a while, before my YouTube channel took off, he had more viewers than me. So I was jealous of him and his YouTube following and his social media. But look at all those mittens on him. He's 29 toes.
I love him already. Oh my god. Oh my god, he's so cute. All your cats are beautiful. I'm gonna be one. I'm gonna be like you. I think I'm gonna get more cats. I'm so scared. Oh my god.
Yeah, this is the
My
Carl.
cats literally control the my home. Like I have no say so in anything. They control everything. He's beautiful.
Paw. And even his back toes, he's got
Yeah,
extra toes.
yeah.
It's like
That's
getting
it.
a cat in a hat.
He's done. Well, I'm gonna see you. Hopefully it's tomorrow. Tuesday, Wednesday. No, there's no show tomorrow. But I'll see you guys again on Thursday, Friday.
Yep, that works for us. We have an
Yeah.
appointment on the other side of the state tomorrow, so we wouldn't be
Oh,
available tomorrow.
I wasn't.
But-
No, there's no show on Wednesdays. Yeah, but
Okay.
um, but we need to work on whatever Jamie asked you to do. So
Yep.
we need to talk about that later, not now, because I have a lot of work to do after the holiday. Today is going to be very busy for me, and tomorrow. But yeah, but next week, God willing, let's work on that together, if you like. Okay.
Yeah, I'll message Jamie on Messenger, Facebook, and we'll talk some
Jamie is great. Jamie, I love Jamie. Jamie is my girl. I call her my girl. I just don't go. I used to have a Facebook page that I
I'm
had
with you.
Jamie on, but it's hacked. It's hacked. I can't get into my page, and I had so many people in there. They were following me and Jamie. I used to watch her videos, and I can't even watch my girl's videos anymore because I used to love watching her videos, and I would like comment on them, and now I can't see anybody's videos.
That's rough. I hate
It's
that.
sad. Yeah, I know. It's okay. I need my page back. I don't know how to get it.
Yeah, I've had a couple of pages that's happened to, and it's unfortunately you just get locked out and you're so frustrated. You have
Yeah,
unfinished in there, you have projects and things you need. Yeah.
yeah. I'm pissed. Yeah, I'm pissed. But that's you know what? It is what it is. I want to open another page, but it's the same thing's gonna happen to it again. So I'm like, forget it. I'm not gonna-
Well, we have I have about 12 different YouTube channels myself. Paige has about 6 or 7. My wife has about the same, and it's kind of like planting a field with our YouTube. We just have to plant a bunch of different channels, focus on one topic at a time. I know my main channel, Pity's Raws, that one is kind of all over the place. It has cat videos, it has nonsense videos, and it has some really jarring auditing videos. But then Cat's channel is just strictly about cats. So, and then I have a Dave Blyler channel that's about just doing projects and nothing else. And it's really refined and nice and doesn't have any political or governmental bias towards it. It's nice to have these different outlets so you can talk on like this and the other ones.
I love animals, and I think, like I said, cats are my favorite animals, and then I think secondary will be dogs. I'm sorry.
Overall, even if
Yeah,
you can,
I love dogs too. Don't take me wrong. Don't get me wrong. It just I don't know. I've just seen my. It's weird. The cats gave me so much comfort. They literally cried with me. Literally cried with me. So I guess maybe it depends on the breed of the dog. Maybe some dogs are like golden retrievers. My friend has a golden retriever, and she's the most loving dog I've ever seen in my life. Golden retrievers, right? So yeah, but cats to me is I don't know if it's because I was raised with them. I don't know what it is, or because I'm Egyptian. I don't know. But cats and I get along very well.
The Egyptians have a long, deep history with cats, and
Yeah,
I truly
I
love
don't know
that
what it
about
is. Yeah, it's like cats to me. They comfort me, and yeah, yeah. Everyone in Egypt have cats, by the way. Everyone has cats, and we love them. We do.
them.
And cats are really protecting you more than you think.
Yeah,
Uh, Cats actually do protect you.
we,
The
we have a
all the dogs do is bark, but the cats will come to you and literally bring awareness to you, right?
Mhm.
And will face the attacker. These cats, somebody rang the doorbell late at night, and these cats were like scratching the door.
Mm.
They were not scared. They didn't run. One of them came. I don't know which one, Amuna or Cyrus. One of them came and did this to my chin to wake me up, and then went to the door with his brother, and they kept scratching the door like, "Whoever you are, you better get out of there." You know,
Yeah.
we're coming after you. I'm not joking. And Molly hid under the bed. Molly barked and hid under the bed.
Sounds like our dog. He'd
I'm
bark and then
like,
go
what
hide.
the heck is going on? Exactly, but she barked,
Yeah.
very loud, but then she hid under the bed, and that was that.
Yeah. We have a strict rule. We have inside cats that don't go outside. There's one that likes to go out. He'll take 2 steps out. He'll eat a handful of grass and then come back in. But then we have like some outside cats that never come in. But we give them medical care. We take them to the
Yeah,
vet. We never ever ever feed our outside cats, and
yeah.
we have a logic behind it. Well, they're performing the job. They're doing what nature told them to do by eating all the small little critters around my house. Why should I feed them? It takes the
I
incentive
did the
away.
same thing, but my neighbors hate it because I'm bringing attention to other cats too. And I tell them, I said, why are you guys offended by their coming to my home? I mean, not my home, but outside my door. I'm feeding them, giving them water and food. Why is you so offended by what I'm doing to cats? Well, they're animals. They're stray animals. You don't need them around. We don't need them around. I said, well, if you guys have mice around, I'm sure you would wish you had a cat around, huh? And now
Yeah,
that's why we don't have mice around because cats get rid of them. And these stray cats you guys are complaining about. But they tried to file a complaint and nobody did anything. So I'm
yeah.
still feeding them. Yeah.
We live in a town and there's garbage cans everywhere. I'd rather have the critters, the cats, go after the little vermin, and give them a house an extra layer to pay the orchid man or the pest control guy to come over and spray chemicals.
I
Let the
know.
cats do what they do naturally and go after the small furry
Cats
things.
are vicious. My cats, they're so beautiful, but when they hiss, they're like the way they hiss, I can see their teeth and their mouth gets wider, and they scared me. I'm not joking because they were hissing at whoever was outside. Like I have seen a side of them that showed they were like not just cats. It's
Yeah.
weird. I can't explain it. I've never seen that before, and that showed me that night that they really truly love me. Truly love me.
Very emotional critters. Very, very
Yeah, they
emotional.
really are. I love them so much. And every time you show me a cat when we're doing the show, my heart just, I can't help but smile, even though we're talking about a disgusting topic, but I still smile because I love seeing cats. I wish
We have
they're around you, like all over, like they're around you. I can see all of them together.
Yeah, there's 6 of them in here. That's our max. With our size house, we couldn't fit any more.
I want
Um,
10. I just want 10. That's it.
we
10.
have one. We do have one kitten that's dying. He has
Oh,
feline anemia also. He's Sparky and Gizmo's brother, and or Trash Cans and Gizmo's brothers. His name's Sparky.
how
He's a
old is
solid,
he?
huh?
How old is he?
They're about 9 or 10 months old at this point, and the one you can see the effects of the feline leukemia catching up to him. He's such a cute little boy. He sleeps on my pillow at night, all night long. He will stay on my pillow and head to head, face to face.
Because
His
he,
nuzzles.
I know, I know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to
Yeah,
know.
he's just
Don't
such a
tell
sweet.
me because I'm not gonna stop crying. I'm not gonna stop crying. I'm not gonna
Same.
stop crying. Yeah, it's
Check.
so sad. I don't want to see. It's so hard to see death on anything you love. It's so hard. Um,
Gets
even though
me.
we all gonna die, but still, no.
I think the hardest part for me to comprehend and just to see it is that he's growing up he's growing up and dying at the same time. And I can, as a parent of a child with a disability, like I described with in my situation,
Mm,
it hits home a little bit too close when I see that, even if it's just happening with my cat and knowing the situation that Paige is in.
I understand.
Yeah,
It's hard.
it's
It's
yeah.
hard. But
See with
let's,
the baby kitten, and then you translate it to your own child.
yep. So, guys, we're going to have to end the show now. Um, we're past time. So, anyways, Dave, thank you so much for joining us again. And give your daughter and your beautiful cats a big hug for me. All right.
Absolutely.
I will,
It's actually feeding time for him, so time to go get dinner.
and I will see you, God willing, on Thursday. Okay.
So, thank you, Miss G. Have a
Bye.
wonderful day.
You too.
Bye bye.